Let's move on, Max, to 3A Division II, and another example of a prohibitive favorite versus a field of landmines.
Right.
The prohibitive favorite here is Newton.
Yeah.
Newton has been wire-to-wire the number one team in 3A Division II, and I don't really think there's any argument against it.
Sure doesn't seem like it. Yeah.
This team has been dominant. This team has been crushing people, and it's not just because they score a bunch, although they do.
Right.
The defense has flown around, and I really like what the Eagles bring on both sides of the ball. A conversation about 3A Division II starts with them.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. The question is, do you take Newton or do you take the field? And the field does have a lot of interesting squads in it.
A lot of intriguing options.
If you go to Region 1, and I think you and I both agree that the winner of Region 1 is probably playing in a title game.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so.
I think you've got 3 or 4 teams you could see. I think you could see Cisco.
Yeah.
I think you could see Canadian,
Yep.
even with a move up.
Yep.
I think you could see a team like Sonora,
Yep.
who's playing very well right now.
Yep.
Or I think if you want to dream on a team, I think you can dream on Eastland. I
Yep.
think Eastland's playing good ball right now. Region 2 is a little more interesting. The East Tech, this is where I talk about East Texas being a little bit down this year. They just don't have that quality depth that we've had.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on Gunner. They are 10-0. They're probably the favorite to come out of Region 2, but there's a lot of teams. I don't think they're so far and away the best team in Region 2 as to say, oh, you could just book them for a state semifinal. Region 3 is where Newton sets up shop, and to me, their biggest challenges are going to come from teams like Elysian Fields and Crockett.
Yeah.
2 teams with speed.
Crockett's really good, and Newton's already taken care of him once.
Yes,
so.
exactly. That's kind of why you look at Newton as the team to beat.
Yeah.
And then Region 4. And we'll get into one of them in a moment. But you got to keep an eye on East Bernard.
Yep.
East Bernard is always dangerous, and another team that runs that kind of style of offense, it's very hard to game plan for. They play solid defense, and they're always dangerous this time of year. I think Odom's interesting just because they've got a flamethrower of an offense.
Yeah.
They've got Michael Everett, and they can score.
You're going to have to outscore him, and that's not always easy.
Exactly right. So the 3 contenders for me, you start with Newton. Newton has to start the year or start this playoff push number 1 in 3A Division 2. Yeah. It's where they've been all year long, and at this point you're kidding yourself if you're saying it's not, that you're going to pick anyone, anyone besides them. They have to start the year at number 1. Yeah. They're not infallible, they're not unbeatable, but they have to start this at number 1. Number 2, I put Canadian, but this is to me
really Cisco or Canadian.
It's
right?
Cisco or Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay, they're going to play, in my view, in a regional final, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great game, and whoever wins that kind of takes the second seat as the chief challenger to Newton.
I'd agree.
And then there's East Bernard. We mentioned them; they're a hard team to game plan for. Let me draw your attention to a deep sleeper in Region 4.
The numbers love them.
Lexington.
Yeah.
Okay? If you're not paying attention to Lexington, you can join the entire rest of the state because it seems to me that nobody is paying attention to what Lexington is doing. First of all, they've got great barbecue. There's great barbecue in Lexington,
Texas.
Texas.
Snows, for sure.
But the thing that has really impressed me about Lexington is that they can score in crazy numbers. They've got a great running back in Nick Dillon. They can score from a lot of different places with Speedy Cooper at the wide receiver spot. This is a dangerous team to anyone that they come across. So watch out for the Lexington Eagles. I think that they've got a great shot at winning Region 4.